The NBA draft deadline eve is upon us, and where are our friends going or maybe staying? Looks like there's going to be good news for NC State. Finally, a good report. We got to talk about that. More importantly, we got to talk about the rest of the guys in the pack when it comes to ACC men's basketball, and maybe a surprise when it comes to women's basketball. Someone in the WNBA found a new home. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. Thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen each and every day. There's so much good news to report for you across the entire conference, and it's always good to have our friends give feedback, whether you're following on YouTube or you listen wherever you download your podcast. Happy to have you. I'm your host, Candace Cooper. First time out, I'm just, excited to be here for y'all. If you are a avid follower, it is a great to once again be able to have the conversation with you. If you're a hater, just reporting, just wanting to get a little bit of shine in, or make sure that you come in with your little negative comments that I get to see. Hey, either way it goes, I appreciate the download. Now, we've got some great conversation to go through today. NC State finally getting some good news. Can we talk about it? Terquavion Smith deciding that he is going to remove his name from the NBA draft entry and return to NC State. And I'm just sitting here saying, hallelujah, praise. One, because he admitted, I just want to be a college kid, just a little bit longer. I get it. I haven't had the full college experience, and I'm right there for you, because guess what? These streets out here in the adult world, they're ugly. There's no need to rush this process. There's no need to rush taxes. Can we talk about it? There's no need to want to deal with taxes, dealing from city to city, having to find a place to stay, having to be a grown up, and all those bills, the energy bill. Don't do it if you don't have to, right? Get you a nice little apartment someone takes care of, and you're good to go. So shout out to the young guard who's deciding that he is going to keep his talents in these Wolfpack streets, period. He was a first round projected superstar to be. And a lot of people are saying, why would you go back to the last place team in the ACC? Why not go make your money? And he said, truthfully, money has never been on his mind. Very transparent. Love this about Mr. Smith. Money has never been the main thing for him. He just wants to go have a good college experience. He has felt like his agency has prepped him. He's gotten great feedback, and now he has the opportunity to shine a little bit more on a brighter stage and maybe do right by the team that drafted him, the only team in the ACC that actually offered him a scholarship. I shouldn't have said drafted, scholarship. So he only got offers from ECU, only got offers from another small school in North Carolina, but then he also ended up going to NC State. And to me, he's just loyal to the soil, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's okay for young men to say, hey, I get to be an adult, get to play these big boy games for the rest of my life. And he's a late bloomer. Came out of FarmVille, North Carolina, and decided that he wanted to eat his Popeye spinach and it's going to keep growing. So, hey, why not give yourself an opportunity and a chance to just really be the man? We saw how it worked for Alondes Williams coming into the ACC out of Wake Forest, taking over with Coach Forbes and company, ended up being the player of the year. Not too shabby. You also have a really good backyard competition that's going to only push you to be better between Caleb Love, Armando Bacot, Carolina versus, NC State, RJ Davis battle you're going to have in that guard play. You're asking for a good sign. Now, when you say NC State, what is there to be happy about? I'm just telling you, when you think about the losses, right? There's some L's you took. Certainly, Jericho Helms left. You also have Cam Hayes leave, and Manny Bates finally deciding that it was time, which I think we all knew it was kind of time for him to go. That's one of those, L's that we're going to hold. Darion Sebron, another guy who decided to take his talents to test the waters of the NBA, more than likely is going to go ahead and stay in the draft conversation. I think he has nothing else left to prove here at NC State, but you never know. Guys change their minds all the time. Did you think all 4 guys from UNC were going to come back? Some of you say yes, some of you say no. I said yes because I knew, but at the end of the day, go make your money however you want to make it. Now, that's the losses for NC State. But the wins, okay? You have a new group of guys, a new group of energy. Transfer portal has been kind to Coach Keats Out of Winthrop, you have DJ Burns. Out of Mississippi, you have Jarkel Joyner, who is going to be a great backcourt for, I personally believe, for Terquavion Smith. You also have LaSalle's Jack Clark, and then you have Utah's Dusan. Ooh, there it is. Mahorsi. Listen, y'all know my notes, okay? Mahorsic chick. We're gonna try that maybe one more time. I'm gonna know it by fall. Okay, bet it. Now you have him going, and that whole crop, basically a whole new slate. You have new coaching staff for Coach Keats. He knows that this is the year that things got to shake a little bit better than last. There's nowhere to go but up. So if you're an NC State person, I don't know how you cannot be excited about the season because you got a really good guard returning. Actually loves the school. And I'm pretty positive he got some good NIL money. Can't confirm. You know, he's not about the money, but it don't hurt to get a 1-2 punch there. So here I am thinking that maybe things worked out in his favor. Now, NC State, more good news I'm here to share with you. I think overall, when you look at the landscape of ACC basketball, not only is he done Terquavion Smith returning going to help the addition of, but you also had some really good team down the corner, Duke. Their players all said they're going to the league. Now, mind you, they have a really good recruiting class, but I still think when you talk about backyard competition, NC State and Duke, that has always been quite a challenge for the Blue Devils, not going to hold you. So if Keats can pull out one of those wins, maybe there's a reason for him to stick around. Boo Corrigan, I'm just saying, I'm glad that you have the faith in Keats to keep him around. Hopefully things shake out a little bit better this time. Now you had a guy who actually had an opportunity to leave and stay. That is a rare trait for an NC State player recruited by Coach Keats. Either they leave, off the strength, either they never even show up, or they decide to transfer after a year or 1.5. You never know, or 4 or 5. Either way it goes, this is positive news, people, for NC State. You don't get it often. We just talked about how your baseball team didn't make the championship field the other day. If you haven't checked out the Locked On Wolfpack host, Kenton Gibbs, in that episode, you are doing yourself a disservice. He gives it to you straight and plain. The NC State versus NCAA is very real, but there's times where we can rejoice as an NC State person, and this time is now as well. If you follow women's basketball, Alyssa Cunane, the star of ACC women's basketball for real, she just got signed to the Minnesota Lynx. So if you have not had the opportunity to scroll your Twitter timeline, she will be taking her talents there. She was, recruited out there in Seattle. Drafted out there in Seattle. Didn't quite work out, but they did keep your girl Raina. However, I think that Alyssa just needs a chance, a shot, and now she's getting her second one. So good on her. There's a whole conversation about WNBA and drafting people but not keeping them. But I will not bore you with that news. There are other things to discuss here. Terquavion wasn't the only player who decided to return, and there's still time for others to make that decision. Some other guys in the ACC that want to come back. But first, our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all of your sports betting and info needs. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports development, including this year's basketball playoffs, which I know y'all are ready for. The Celtics versus the Warriors. You got some Major League Baseball scores out there. You got some fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering info, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, friends, so we are rocking and rolling here, Locked On ACC podcast, solo show today, but all good nonetheless. Hope you've had a great Memorial Day. Long weekend if you got one. If you didn't, you're still thriving. You're doing the best that you can, making it how you do. Money don't make itself, okay? Period. Now, NC State got the good news that Terquavion Smith's coming back. Better news for Boston College and Coach Grant is that DeMar Langford Jr. has decided to take his talents back to Boston College, averaging 11.3 points during the season, per Jeff Goodman from Twitter, letting us know that this Eagle is flying back to the coop, which is good in my opinion, because I think Coach Grant really took the time to develop some of these players. He's coming from the College of Charleston, and I really think the way that their relationship is, and just speaking to him personally during the ACC kickoff, you can tell he really loves and trusts Coach Grant. I'm glad he got the opportunity to get some feedback from the NBA. I really do love the way the NBA does that, right? You get some feedback, whether to take your tail on back whether you actually have a good shot or maybe you still have a good shot and you decide, no, I'm not quite ready. Shout out to Terquavion. But either way it goes, DeMar's coming back. He's getting himself an extra year. And not for nothing, I know y'all gonna shoot me. I really think Boston College is going to be the team that improves mightily, just the way Wake Forest did last season. They were in a lot of games. They could have won and probably should have won had they had like 2 more inches of talent. A lot of games. So I think Boston College is the team to sleep on going into the 2022-2023 season. But you didn't hear it from me. I just saw it with my own two. I think Boston College is going to be scary. I think Wake Forest is going to be pretty decent as well. I think NC State is going to be much better than they were. Not sure how I feel about Georgia Tech right now. Not sure how I feel about Clemson right now, even though they have really good coaches, right? They can always pull out some wins for a squad. I really think the biggest if I were going to put my BetOnline bet on the team that's going to do not as good as people think, I would say Duke. I think John Shire is going to struggle. And I think the way Hubert Davis had all the pressure going to his first season is not only going to be put on Coach Shire, but like amplified times 7 because he's such a master genius. And you can take that for what you want in so many different ways. But I think you, after a while, you get so many good recruits and yet you don't produce the wins. Was it Coach K? The old man had to get out of the way and he's going to thrive? Or maybe Shire's too big for his britches. Another conversation for another day. But just my 3 cents that you didn't ask for, but I decided to give you anyway. So there's a lot of great guys who are trying to figure out whether or not they're going to make this 2022-2023 season really good. And not for nothing, I would be remiss, me, if I didn't mention the North Carolina Tar Heels, Armando Bacot, RJ, and Caleb Love, and you got Leaky Black returning. I mean, if the Jokers don't win a national championship, it's a foregone season, whatever they say, but they don't have to do anything else for me personally. After the Duke Final Four win, I'm good. Like not for life, but like for now, for a good little while, I'm okay. I don't need much. I'm not asking for a lot from my fellas there because I think that ultimately you got to be excited about any team that can take down your arch nemesis on the biggest stage. Okay? Period. That's just I still have excitement about that. So there's that. Now my other notes tell me that we can't just talk about basketball. Men's basketball is great. A little women's basketball news as well. Got some returners. Again, reminding you guys that June 1st is the day where guys have to decide whether they're staying in the draft or they're going to take their talents back. And if you have been following on Twitter, you've seen some other conferences and some really star players deciding to return, not topping out of Kentucky, right? You got some other guys out of Gonzaga who are trying to stay and really make next year a really big season for men's hoops. So a lot of names that you just never know. Like the NIL money could be great, or guys could really just be passionate about wanting to play college basketball or be a college student. You don't have the true, pandemic stuff in your face, even though the pandemic is very much still real and COVID cases are very much getting higher. But another story for another day. I still think it's going to be a great season overall. Baseball. As we talked about on yesterday's show, 9 ACC teams were able to get their names called to hit that championship field to go try and play for the College World Series, win the big one. All of that good stuff, right? Now, there were some teams left behind. Mentioned NC State didn't get picked. Clemson was another one of those teams that found themselves not playing for all the kit and caboodle. And then comes with that, the AD saying, Mr. Nuff said, listen, Monte Lee, it's about that time. So for the sake of Clemson baseball, you're looking for a new coach. A lot of turnaround there in terms of who to pick. A lot of names have been floated around there, but I will let you do your due diligence of researching that. But Monte Lee has been released from Clemson baseball as the head coach and all that comes with. It's going to be very interesting as we try and figure out who is going to take that spot. But nonetheless, I think there's a great opportunity for good baseball here. Now, again, if you did not listen to yesterday's show, you know that you are missing out on a great opportunity to hear about some really good baseball. Carolina picked up the ACC title. We were debating about whether or not series versus individual games or tournament runs mattered. All of those good things and the like. And I hope you check it out. You listen to the rest of the conference listen to all the other shows around the conference. Make sure you check out those guys because they individually bring a lot to the table. You've got a lot of good recruiting conversations going on. You got a lot of good position group conversations going on. So make sure that you check those out. But as I prepare for the NBA draft, I'm getting excited. I think there's going to be a lot of great ACC guys' names called in the first round. So make sure you check out all the crossover episodes. Shameless plugs right now, segment of the show. As you're checking out all the crossover opportunities that you'll find some of not only me, but other ACC guys on around as we hint towards the summer. Now, a little more housekeeping news, but first, I want to make sure you guys are all set up with everything as we're going to dive into what's going on for the rest of the summer for Locked on ACC. So, guys, as you know, in summer we get a little bit of a reprieve. We don't have to do 5 episodes a week, but we give you three days of content. So whether it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever schedule you want to do, right? So that means I need your help. We need to have a little mailbag. I need to get a little questions out of you. What do you want to know going into football season, right? Do you want to know whether or not NC State's going to pull out the whole shebang? Do you want to know whether or not Carolina's going to find a quarterback before fall hits? I would love to know that. Do you want to know whether or not the Atlantic versus Coastal is going to be the more competitive division? Those are the type of questions that I would love to hear from you guys. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at Candace D. Cooper, at Locked On ACC, or you can always leave comments in the YouTube section. So there's that. Mailbags are coming for the summer. I need your, questions. Love them to be answered. That's part 1. Part 2, we know we have these hosts here, rotating cast. We're going to keep as many as possible, whether it's Drizzy Drake, whether it's Kenton Gibbs, whether it's JJ Jackson, AJ Black, and then always me, a solo show a week. Now we're looking for that 5th host. But until then, you get to be excited about your girl. So that's just what we're going to do down the pipe going into the season. We'll give you all that football coverage as we discuss the upcoming games, recap the games that happened the week before, preview. More importantly, we'll break down and we'll give you our weekly rankings as we did last year. I know you guys love those the best. Those were your favorites as you're talking about power stuff. I'm just excited because I think the power rankings are going to shift every week. When you talk about teams that are really vying for the chance to be the best in our conference, Miami wants to be in the conversation. NC State, Clemson wants their rightful place on the throne that they've been doing for the past umpteenth years, right? So there's a lot to going on there. So all those good things are coming down the stretch for you. So make sure you check that out. Again, I know I didn't mean to be such a shameless plug show, but I figured I'd just keep you guys abreast of what's going on. It took a little break there in April, decided to ramp it back up here, and appreciated everyone who has listened through the struggle episodes, through the ugly camera episodes. We're still working on the camera, but it's fine. You're here. We're working on all those things to make sure that we get right and ready for y'all as we head into the fall. So make sure you tap in. Listen to all of the conference shows. Listen to me at Locked On ACC, at Candace C. Cooper. Subscribe wherever you listen to your YouTube channel, whether you watch, all those things help us have great times here. And the feedback's always appreciated, especially when it's 5 stars. That's all we care about. Cool. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow. We have got more conversations with AJ Black. We're going to talk about some football, some basketball, little Boston College here. We'll just make it fun per usual. But for Candace Cooper, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Until next time.